All right, let's do a little bit of a review of trig functions for geometry here. Don't forget ka, toa. That's for sine, that's for cosine, that's for tangent. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent. So, if we are finding missing sides with trig using toa, this is how we're going to do that. We are given an angle, and then we need to find a side, which is this one in this case is opposite. And this over here is always the hypotenuse across from the 90. That makes this one the adjacent. If you have a degree and a side, and you need the other side, okay, just figure out which pieces you have. I have opposite and I have a hypotenuse. That's OH, so that's the sine of 42. Should be the opposite, x, over the hypotenuse, 25. To solve this equation, get x by itself, get the 25 to the other side by multiplying. So x is going to be, and we're probably going to have to round it, but let's see, 25. And we're going to do the sine of 42 degrees. 16.7, so 16.7 approximately. If you didn't get 16.7, and you got something like negative 22.91, that's because you're in radians and not degrees, and we don't want to know radians, we want to know degrees. Out of 360, how many degrees type thing? And so that'll give us a side appropriate the way that we need it to be. Let's look at example 2. What do we have? We got this one here. This is right next to it, adjacent. This one over here is not touching, so that's opposite. This is my hypotenuse. If I have OA, I've got the tangent of, it's a bad 75 degrees equals opposite, which is 12, over adjacent, which is my x. I'm going to do my 1-ratio switch. X equals 12 divided by the tangent of 75. So x is approximately, so we got to do 12. Not yet. 12 divided by the tangent of 75. So we got 3.2, approximately 3.2. So that's a good review. Give it a pause. Try example 3 and 4. Come back. Let's see how they go. All right, here we are. Let's roll it. We got this one. Over here is opposite, so that makes this one adjacent. This one is the hypotenuse across from the 90. So I'm dealing with adjacent and hypotenuse, so that's the cosine of 36 equals the adjacent 19 over x, the hypotenuse. Let's do the 1-ratio switch. X equals 19 over the cosine of 36. So 19 divided by, that's supposed to be 19. Get back up there. Now we can do the cosine of 36. So x is approximately 23.5 when we round to the nearest tenth. All right. Last one, let's give it a look. This is my angle. Over here is opposite. That makes this adjacent because this is the hypotenuse. It's across from the 90. So we've got opposite and hypotenuse. So that is the tangent of 53 equals x over 7. Multiply by 7 on both sides to get rid of it. X is approximately, not that thing, this thing over here. We want 7 times the tangent of 53, which is about 9.3. That's what we're looking for there. Now that's if you have a missing side and you're given an angle and one other side. Now, if you're given a missing angle, you've got two sides, but you don't know what the angle is, that's where we're going to use the inverse, the arc sine, arc cosine, arc tangent thing. Okay, remember those are sine -1, you got cosine -1, you got tangent -1. And those are all still OA. Okay, that's what's going to go in there. Divide, divide, divide. Okay? So, what have we got? Over here is my opposite. That makes this my adjacent because across from the 90 is the hypotenuse. So I have OA, so I'm going to do x equals the arctangent of opposite, which is, I guess that's a 9. I didn't type this. I didn't use that font. So x is approximately, let's go back to our calculator. Funks arctan of 9 divided by 20. 24 0.2 degrees. Don't forget your degree symbol because we are finding the angle measure, so it should have degrees. Let's look at number 2. This is the one in question, so over here is the opposite. That makes this the adjacent, and this is always the hypotenuse across from the 90. We have adjacent and hypotenuse. So that would be x equals inverse of the cosine of adjacent, 17, divided by the hypotenuse, 32. So x is approximately, let's see, what was it? 17 over 32, 17 divided by 32. 57.9 degrees. Don't forget your degree symbol. All right, give it a pause. Try the next two. Let's see how you remember. Okay, here we go. I'm going to need that calculator the whole time, so I'm just going to do a little splitsy screen here. All right, let's see. I have this angle. Over here is opposite. This is always the hypotenuse. That makes this one the adjacent. If you're ever wondering, just go opposite. Mark your hypotenuse. The other one has to be adjacent. I currently have opposite and adjacent, so that's going to be the tangent, or the arctan, of opposite was 13 over 18. X is approximately arctan, 13 divided by 18, 35.8. 35.8 degrees. One more to go. Over here is opposite. This is always the hypotenuse across from the 90. That makes this side the adjacent. We currently have opposite and hypotenuse, so x equals arcsine of opposite, which is 21 over 28, or 3 divided by 4. So x is approximately arcsine of 21 divided by 28, 45.6 degrees. Oh, no, that's not a 5. It's an 8. There we go. 48.6 degrees. And that's a quick review of trig.